Now on the flip side, we talk about surprising teams. In the positive, there have been some other teams that we thought would be hot, but have been not been terrible to start so far. And definitely want to point to them real quick. And one of which was a team that we kind of tempered our expectations for, but still, even seeing that they've kind of underperformed, even that have been surprising, and that's been the Warriors so far. We expected that Steph would come back, and I had been someone that saw him being on MVP status and trying to push back and carry that team back. While he still may do so, it's only been 4 games, as we know. It's been somewhat of a rough 4 games already. So we'll see how the season goes. And what do you think about this Warriors squad this first week we've had of them?
Yeah, it's been a rough 4 games, and largely due to the inefficiency of Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. I think Oubre was like 0 for 31 on non-dunk attempts. Like he hit his first 3 of the season yesterday.
Yep.
So Oubre being ineffective and Wiggins, it's like the Andrew Wiggins experience though. Like he's so talented. He's the physical specimen. But it seems like he doesn't even want to be on the floor at some points. You guys watch him play, but it's baffling to watch.
Yeah, he has that weird body language that seems lazy or disinterested, but he's really out there doing his thing. So
I think he scored he had 30. I think last night or the night before.
Yeah, he had like 27 and 8 or something like that. So he's out there doing his thing. It just seems like he don't want to be there. Just
right. It's like a lack of motor, I guess, is like a good way to say it at times. Where you're like, dude, like you could be top 20 player in the league if you used all the tools you have.
They calling him the Canadian LeBron or something like that when he was coming out of
he had a lot of Kobe comparisons too, like his movements as well.
Him. Yeah. So he had high hopes, and while he hasn't got to that extent, he still is a solid talent and could help this Warriors team out a whole lot and improve his play. So
I think he's the key. I truly think he's the key to them being a good team this year. I think if he's consistently on, they're a lot more of a force, and him and Steph playing off of each other, because having Steph as a threat to shoot a 3 or shoot from anywhere on the floor should open up your game in your being Andrew Wiggins or Kelly Oubre. So they have to learn how to play off of Steph and use him as a decoy or whatever that may be. Because Steph, as great as he is, can't carry a team like a LeBron can, like a James Harden can. He needs other guys to be performing as well too. Like he can't be the one guy. They're gonna get Draymond back soon, hopefully. But Draymond as well. Like Draymond's a facilitator, but he's not gonna score 20 a night. So I think it's largely gonna fall on the shoulders of Wiggins and maybe Oubre if he can get it together as well too.
Yeah, and that's what we expected. So hopefully they continue to do that. But one bright spot I will note, even in all of their kind of chaos that they've had to start, has been James Wiseman, their first-round draft this year. He looks special. he looks good. So even though stats-wise, I think he only had like 6.6 rebounds last game or wherever that was. He still has highlights that show you that, hey, this kid is on the rise and it was going to be a force of record very soon. So I think if they just could continue to build around him and Steph and Draymond, that coaching staff pours their knowledge into him, he's going to be a great piece alongside them. To your point about Wiggins and Oubre, I think that Steph is an MVP by himself when guys aren't around to help him out, but he's a champion when the guys around him elevate. And if he wants to see Steph back in championship form, we got to have guys like Oubre and Wiggins to elevate their play as well and make at least 1 3. I know you said 1 for 31. You give us a little more than that, and they'll be back on track. So definitely still a lot of room to improve there, and we'll see how quick they turn things around there. So definitely keep your eyes out for Golden State still. Another thing too, another team that has a little bit of shakeup and you got to keep your eyes on is the Wizards. They traded for Russell Westbrook, and while he's still on his usual triple-double thing, which is crazy that's a normal statement, just like guys aren't supposed to just do that, but he still came out first game and did that with ease as he kind of does his thing. He's trying to get things figured out there in Washington. They're off to an 0-4 start so far. That team it's weird when you see Russ having the stat lines that he does, but they're still losing. So yeah, I'm confused by that. What are you thinking about the Washington situation?
My take is that kind of issue that we talked about while we were hyping them a little bit preseason. You could see the issue in the depth of the roster because the bench is pretty much non-existent. I think obviously Russ and Beal and Bertans is a nice piece there, and Denny, the rookie. And Thomas Bryant. But after that, the bench, Rui is out. So maybe once Rui is healthy, that helps them significantly. But the bench is not very deep and is not really producing. Also, their defense, they were one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year. And Russ isn't necessarily an all defensive player. He plays hard, but he's not necessarily like a lockdown guy. Beal was one of the worst defenders in the league last year, statistically. So I think those two things. So perhaps it's making some form of trade and getting another piece off the bench. But definitely shoring up defensive end as well.
Yeah, we mentioned that when we talked about Bradley Beal early on in our teams to watch. I believe when we mentioned the Wizards, with them kind of on their last hurrah with Bradley Beal, trying to get him some kind of success before he potentially leaves. You want to make sure you put some pieces around him. And while Russ is off to a good start individually, we want to make sure that other guys are supporting him so that they can not only have the stats, but the most important one, the wins, to have them feeling good this year. So maybe trade, maybe just making sure Rui's back and in the lineup properly or wherever the case may be. But they want to turn it around quickly before it completely falls apart. So hopefully they do that.
Because they've played beatable teams as well too. Like they just lost to the Bulls last night. Like that's a team you should be beating if you believe like you're going to be a playoff team this year. So probably have some issues to fix. I know I heard that Bradley Beal didn't speak to the media last night either. Like I'm sure he's frustrated. They made this trade to get Russ, but they're 0-4 to start. Technically worst team in the league, I guess. So
you try like that. You get your superstar player on your team ready to go. It seems like. You got to get some things to reassure him that this is a place he can be and thrive in. So we shall see. And then speaking of superstars trying to get up out of there, on the flip side of the Wizards is the Rockets, and they're still waiting for John Wall to get back. He's out because of COVID things as well as Boogie Cousins. But James Harden is in, and he's crazy, bro. Because how do you not go to training camp? How you show up overweight? It's reportedly and still dropping 48 and wherever he's doing still. Guys don't just do that. He's one of one. So he's been very impressive to start, but even still, they haven't been winning a whole lot. So what is your take on this Houston situation, and what do you think they should do going forward?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything to panic about, really. The one thing that makes it cloudy is Harden seeking to leave. But if you can get Harden committed to staying, like I don't think it's anything to panic about because you're getting John Wall, Eric Gordon, and Boogie Cousins all back once they clear their COVID protocols. That's a pretty deep team.
Ben McLemore, who may not be the most notable name, but on the Rockets team, he has been performing well. So having four guys out, key guys in the rotation out, definitely is a drop off. So I see.
Like they took the Blazers to OT, and it's pretty much just been Harden and Christian Wood going off, but other guys not as much filling in for the guys who are out for COVID. So I think once you get those guys back, like those are all-star caliber players that you're getting back in John Wall and Boogie Cousins. So I don't think it's anything to worry about for the Rockets. I'm still confident in where we had them at the 4 seed. Even if they make the trade, if you make the trade with Harden, like whether it's the Nets or it's the Sixers and Ben Simmons, like you're going to get a big value piece in return. So
that was going to be where I brought up next. Have y'all seen how this first week has gone in the league? Have you seen new targets arise for Harden, or you think it's still the Nets and the Sixers and that's it? Yeah.
I don't like the fit with the Nets still. I think it would be a high-powered offense with Kyrie, Harden, and KD. I think with that, you'd have to give up Karras for sure. And that's your 6-man right now. And I don't think between those three that I just mentioned that you're going to sit any of those guys and have them come off the bench.
Plus, on the numbers wise, for when the trade happened, Spencer Dinwiddie would have been a part of that trade. And I don't think you can even trade him now.
With him being out for
that
the season.
That all falls apart.
Yeah, so I don't love the fit there. Obviously, be a potent offense, but and then defensively, I don't love it as well. You still have like Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan as far as like rim protection and stuff, but Kyrie and Harden aren't necessarily lockdown perimeter guys. KD has rising to the occasion, like with the Warriors as well too. But yeah, so I'm not big on Harden to the Nets. I do still like the Harden to the Sixers though, like in a swap with Ben Simmons, because I think Harden and Embiid as a 1-2 would be really nice for that Sixers team, and then they already have the shooters around, which is the Daryl Morey formula, and Daryl Morey is their GM, and so they got Seth Curry and Danny Green and others around Embiid and potentially Harden. I think that would be a scary team.
Yeah, I see that. Another team who's also a team I wanted to mention here is the Raptors. I think James Harden, if the Raptors could pull another
help a lot
and make a trade for him, that'd be a big jump for them, because he's the scoring that they need. Because someone who I mentioned as a player to watch, Pascal Siakam, hasn't quite figured it out just yet. He's still trying to get things figured out there. So with him not being the offensive threat really at all quite yet,
and he may never be the number one guy.
Yeah, may never be. Having someone that can put the ball in the basket and let him just do what he wants to do on the defensive side. James Harden in Toronto would be a nice fit. Or this year in Tampa Bay, wherever that is, for this season.
Oh, where they're playing? I forget where they're playing.
I think they're in Tampa Bay or something like that this year. So I think wherever they're at, I think they should make a call to Houston and try to get him over there. Another Kawhi type situation that could get them back at the top of the East. So
Another team we had mentioned too as well, I think still the Nuggets, it would be in their interest to make a package for Harden as well too, with all the depth they have. They've gotten off to a slow start. That's the last team I guess we have on here as far as the underperforming ones. I believe they're off to a 1-3 start. One of the bottom teams in the West right now. It's early, obviously, but the Nuggets have a very deep team and potentially could put together a package to get Harden, which could take them over the top.
While they have a lot of depth, if they had to trade Jamal Murray in that trade to get Harden back, do you make that trade still? Or do you want the Jamal, Harden, Jokic big three?
I think I was having it with Jamal still there. I think I prefer that.
I know a lot of people are saying that, but if he had to be included, do you still make the call?
If he had to be included, that's tough because,
I say no. I say no. It seems that Jamal and Jokic seem to have a nice bond there and a nice chemistry going already, and you don't want to completely up. But yeah, it would be interesting if that has to be done to get him there. I think because of chemistry and all that, I don't know how much of a jump that would be if you swap Jamal out for James Harden. I think it really end up kind of washing at the end. So we'll see if they pull the trigger on that. But with the Nuggets kind of underachieving so far, at least for the first week, again, like I said, it's only 4 games, but underachieving so far. Let me pull them, but they've only won one game. They're winning 3 so far. So just trying to figure things out. We shall see. I think a part of why they've struggled so far is just getting used to trying to get all these guys on the court. I've seen Bobo get some minutes, I've seen RJ Hampton get some minutes. They're draftee, and just trying to figure out how to get guys more into their spots now. Jeremy Grant is now in Detroit, so having guys step up and fill the void that he left. Just trying to get them get new chemistry built up. Start early on in the season, or what they're trying to do for now. But I think they're going to get their footing soon and really get rolling. So we shall see. I would make that trade if I was the Nuggets, if Jamal had to be included. So we'll see. They definitely could be a big threat if they find a way to do it without a minute. So good thing. There potentially good things there. But they've been underperforming, as you mentioned, with these other teams as well. So there have been a few teams that aren't on the hottest of starts, but could have quick turnaround. So there keep your eyes on everybody in the league. There's plenty of stuff to watch right now. It's all been fun. So yeah, that's been surprising teams. It's been underperforming teams. Actually, this is kind of separate subject, but kind of the same. The bum ass Clippers got washed the other day. Had to give a quick nod to them. You can't lose by 50, bro. You can't come back.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse, especially to a team who had y'all on the ropes in the playoffs last year.
True.
As I mentioned, Luka's trying to assert himself. You can't come up with this team and get beat down the way they did. Even without Kawhi, Paul George, man, you just keep making it worse on yourself.
Yeah. Kawhi being out is not an excuse.
It's not.
Alex Porzingis out as well too.
Not when PG is back on his MVP mode and all this shit he's talking about in the preseason. Right. You can't come out now without having the other guy alongside you and get washed by 50. It can't be that big of a jump. I think we saw Kendrick Perkins mention it a few times. If it's that big of a jump with Kawhi out, give him the MVP right now. If it's
right.
in the league when he's in and they lose by 50 when he's out, give Kawhi MVP right now. But if that's not the case, PG, you gotta step up. Lou Will, all those guys all that trash you did last year, it now has to produce onto the court. We've seen enough. So yeah. that was not a good look. We've seen a lot of blowouts too, though. I think the Heat got beat by 50 also.
Yeah.
To the Bucks. Yeah, that was interesting. I wouldn't compare it to the Clippers because the Heat beat the Bucks last year and talking all kinds of smack like the Clippers were and all of that.
But Jimmy Butler's been out the last couple of games as well.
And all of that, and they don't have a PG there to lift them up. I know people love Tyler Hero, but he's not PG.
Right. No, and he's a second-year player still.
So yeah,
he played. He was a rookie last year.
Plus, with the Bucks really trying to show that they're the top dogs and not trying to play around no more. Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense to me. So not comparing the two, but yeah, definitely it's been a weird start. We've seen a few blowouts throughout the start of this first week, and with just how quick we turned around the year with the shortened schedule and teams just trying to figure things out. A lot of teams changed up their rosters a little bit. So yeah, guys just trying to get things under control, and when that's the case, how quick things happen, blowouts are bound to happen, but. Yeah, with the Clippers, though, it's just different when you have Paul George and most of your guys still there, and you're still getting beat down the way you were. So, yeah, it's been weird. But yeah, definitely fun stuff all across the league.